Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Mark from Burton Bibles, and firstly a big apologies that this video has taken me so long to get out there. Unfortunately, some of you will know that I had COVID a few weeks ago, and it's really knocked me about a bit again, and it played with my sleep pattern, and I was seemingly so tired and fatigued every evening. This has just taken several weeks to try and put together. But on that note, I do want to thank everybody for their kind thoughts and prayers, and for all those who sent me messages and comments and emails and things like that, wishing me well and telling me that you were praying for me. I really do appreciate that, because it has been a difficult few weeks. However, it has given me a little bit extra time to formulate my thoughts concerning this, the new KJV Topaz, which is what I want to speak about today. We've done a little, very brief overview and unboxing of this Bible, but I wanted to share a few more detailed thoughts and some obviously much more detailed footage of the inside of this great new Bible from Cambridge. So let's take it down to the desk and have a much closer look at this fantastic edition. Okay then, so let's take a look at these two particular bindings that I have managed to get hold of. This is the blue goatskin binding on the left hand side, and this is the now quite familiar black calf split leather as found on many of Cambridge's Bibles now. Now there are some differences between the two, which we'll just cover very briefly. The goatskin Bible is, as you would expect from Cambridge, it is edge lined, and so we'll see that inside. It does have a full leather cover as well, so this liner is actually leather. I believe it is a calfskin leather, if it's similar to the other Cambridge goatskin Bibles. Has these attractive ridges on the spine as well, which you won't get with the calf split. Also has 3 colour-coded ribbons, which are very nice indeed. The page edges on the goatskin versions will be art gilt edged as well. In this case, it's a beautiful blue under gold, which looks very attractive, and something a little bit different as well, which I quite like. On the calf split, we've got this nice pebbly grain calf split leather, which is very nice. I'm a big fan of this particular leather. It's rugged, it's quite hardy, it offers a little more resistance, but I would refer to that as support for when you are reading the scriptures one-handed or preaching one-handed. That lends itself to that. In addition, we have just a little tooling around the perimeter of this cover, and it's normal gilt page edges, so no art gilt here, but that is very nicely done. What is here, and there are just the 2 ribbons on this particular Bible, and in this instance they are sort of a gold colour, which is really nice. Not as thick or as sort of luxurious as the goatskin binding, but hey, you pay your money and you take your choice on these. So perhaps we'll start with some physical dimensions, because we do want to make sure you're aware. This is just under 10 inches long, and it is about 6 3/4 wide. How does it compare to other Bibles? Well, we could of course compare it to the turquoise. Here is a turquoise. Let's try and get them 3 in shot. So it looks to me like they are very same height, but maybe the turquoise is a slight bit narrower, and it is maybe 1/4 inch narrower. They're all very similar thicknesses, and that thickness is it's be about 1 1/4 inches, I thought. 1 1/4 inches there. So these are quite slim Bibles. They're not monstrous Bibles. They do have a larger footprint, but by no means are they heavy Bibles and thick Bibles that you would need to think carefully about before bringing out somewhere. Now let's have a little look at the binding choices here. So it's perhaps worthy of mentioning. Price-wise, the goatskin bindings, of which there is this one, the blue, there is a black goatskin, and then there is a green goatskin. They retail for £220, and the calf split leathers are available in black or brown, and they retail for £145, brand new and hot off the press. Now I do like the goat skin. If we have a little look at that one first, it's a more subtle grain, but it is wonderfully soft. It's not as pronounced a grain as perhaps we would have had on the other editions, such as this, the ESV edition. You can probably make out this is slightly more subtle goat skin, but it's very nice all the same. We've got Holy Bible across on the front of both of these editions, and I do like the little details that we get on the spine with these hubs. That is quite attractive. And will be something that we recognise from the other topazes, and of course the goat skin turquoise. So it's a nice little feature to have. And of course there is also perimeter stitching on this Bible, and that is necessary because we do have two layers, two skins of material here. And this cover is really quite nice. It's nice and soft. We do have the tab underneath there for the edge lining, and this vinyl piece here is quite nice as well. So I do like the goatskin covers. Of course they do come at a premium, and I'm always one, as you know, on the channel for looking at a lower cost alternative as well. And this calf split is really quite nice. Now I've said on the channel before that I really like the calf split being used on slim Bibles. I think it works very well with a slimmer Bible, which this is, and also one that has a wider page area, and that is because it holds the weight of this cover really nicely. So for one-handed preaching and things like that, and because it's not edge lined, this gutter really opens up nice and flat. I mean, look at that. That is really opens up very flat, so you can enjoy reading this on your desk, and you can enjoy holding it as well and preaching from a pulpit one-handed as well. It opens up beautifully. Even the references and things like that. Now this cover will give a little bit over time, I'm sure, but in my experience of these calf split leather covers, they wear very, very well. They hold up. They stand the test of time, and they hold up really well. So please do not overlook the calf split. It's perhaps easy to do so because they don't have the visual wow factor perhaps of these goatskins, particularly the multicoloured goatskins that we're getting now. But nevertheless, it's a really good binding option. So really like that. Really like both of these. It's going to be a case of what's your budget and what is your personal taste in Bibles, but I'd like to think there's something for everybody here. People who like a black Bible are going to be catered for. People who like something a bit different and like some snazzy art gilding and ribbons, you know, there's definitely something for people here as well. But it is it is a larger Bible, there's no question about that. So it is going to be most happy on your desk for private study, but also for public reading. And we'll come to the inside and look at the text characteristics in a very short moment. Now, the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed perhaps that the crest, the royal crest, is missing from the spine. That is just an unfortunate oversight. It will be on future print runs of the Topaz, and we do have, rest assured, the royal crest inside for the King James version. It's there where it should be, so rest assured that is there. Now, as we start to think about the inside of these editions, I think what we're going to realise as we go through it is that this does offer actually something a little bit different to other KJV texts that we have seen. In fact, other KJV texts that we've seen from Cambridge as well. And I think what we're going to find as we look through these Bibles is we're going to find a very pure and a very focused KJV text. And we'll go on to that in a moment. So let's just have a little look inside. We're going to have some presentation pages that we're used to seeing now. And we have the letter to King James, the translator's letter to the reader as well. So we do have that. I know a lot of people like to see that included, and it is here for you to read and enjoy. So we've got both of those things in there. The paper, by the way, is absolutely beautiful. This is very familiar paper to us now. It's that wonderful Indopaque paper, that French paper that we've seen in the other Topazes and in a lot of the higher end Cambridge editions now. And it is beautiful. It is fantastic to turn. It holds the text really well with minimal ghosting. It can be marked. And maybe I should do a Bible marking video on the channel with this Indopaque paper, but it will take the very fine pens that you have, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful paper. It is the highest quality paper around, in my opinion. Now it isn't a thick paper, so that is something to be aware of. It isn't going to be like a wide margin Bible where you can kind of go crazy. I mean, I've got some 45 GSM Bibles and even a 50 GSM, which obviously you can use lots of different pens with, but this isn't going to be like that. This is the 28 GSM Indopaque paper, but it is absolutely beautiful. And as we get into the text here, we'll start to see something of that. You'll notice it's lying flat in Genesis as well, which is always nice to see. Let's just focus in a little bit more here perhaps so we can drink in this really nice format that we've got. So if we were to go back to the beginning, we'll see that this is typeset in 10-point font. It's the More Pro book font that we are used to seeing now in this Topaz Bible. It's a 2K Denmark typeface, and it gives you some information about the paper there as well. And of course it's printed and bound by Royal Youngblood in the Netherlands. So really expectations should be high because we're used to seeing what this publisher and what this printer can do, and make no bones about it, this is a top high-end production. But as we go back to, for example, a book beginning, we will notice a couple of things. We'll notice that it is a 2-column layout. You'll notice that the cross references are in the right hand side of this margin in this case, and as we turn over the page you'll notice that the cross references are in the outside. The way that they're arranged into chapters will be demarcated by the red chapter 3 text here, so we know that these are chapter 3 references here, and we know that these ones pertain to the left hand column of the right hand page. So it's fairly easy to get around, and all of the sort of translation notes are found in the bottom, and these are really good. I've been enjoying some of these, so it will suggest alternative renderings and translational notes here at the bottom as opposed to here in this margin, and that is good because there's more width. Obviously they're going across the page here, so there's more detail can be put into these notes, which is nice, rather than try and squeeze them into the outer edge of the page. So that's worthy of note as well. Something a little bit different and a nice bit of thought that's gone into the layout of this Bible. Now you'll notice as well from the other Topazes that we've featured on the channel, we've had the New King James, we've had the English Standard Version, that we have this bold red chapter numbers and bold red verse numbers. I actually quite like it. It's just popping off the page a little bit, but subtly, because it is a dark, bold crimson sort of red colour. And I haven't found it difficult to navigate this Bible, or indeed to read particular verses and find the verse that I'm looking for. With that said, it is worth pointing out that there are no running headers across the top here, which is a feature that I think you will all know that I actually enjoy. I do appreciate that. The Cameo, for example, my favourite Bible of all time, has the running headers across the top. I've become used to using that, but if you're not used to that, then you won't miss that, of course. So there's no running headers across the top. There's no chapter breakdowns here, which the Cameo doesn't have either, but I know other Bibles do have a bit of a chapter breakdown, like the TBS Westminster. So that's worth pointing out. And also there's no kind of paragraph subheadings within the text. So what we are seeing as we flick through the Topaz, the KJV Topaz, is that it is a bit different from its ESV sibling. If we were to open the ESV, for example, you would notice that there are chapter headings and there are paragraph headings here as well that break up the text and just give some visual cues as to what the material is in the pages that you're looking at. And when you actually come over to the New Testament, it's even more pronounced. So we have different headings here in Romans chapter 8, for example, and there's quite often little breaks in the text and headings, subheadings to guide the reader. You're not going to get that in this KJV. So this is what I was meaning when I was saying this is perhaps the most focused Topaz yet. It is all about the text of the King James Version. There's nothing really that's been added into it to help guide, or you could look at it as to distract the reader. It is all about what you're reading on the page, and as such it does work. I have sat down and read lengthy passages with this. It doesn't fatigue your eye. You're able to read very easily this 10-point font, and it really does give you a very easy reading experience. Just be aware that there aren't those headings or titles to kind of break the text up and to perhaps give a little guide to the reader. Worth bearing in mind. You'll notice as well that there isn't line breaks for the chapters either. So what you'll have is the large, bold chapter number, very much within the text, and again, you know, that is a bit different from the ESV. So, for example, we'll have a bit of a break here for the chapter, but every book starts on a new page. So, as we get to the end of Ezekiel, you'll notice that Daniel is at the top of a new page. So you won't ever have, you know, the book start mid-page or anything like that. And an opportunity like that also is given to put some notes in at the start of a book. And as you go through the Bible, you'll see that, you know, there's a greater or lesser extent for you to do that, because some books will finish quite early on, so there's some room here. Other books will finish even further up the page, you know, perhaps up here, in which gives you even more space to put your notes. Now it is a red letter, so you'll see here, as we just perhaps zoom in a little bit, you'll see here the red on display for you. It is again a nice dark bold crimson red. As we flick through, you'll notice though that it doesn't jump off the page. It's not glaring or perhaps immediately obvious what is red and what is black. It's quite close. So again, I like that. I know some people don't like red letter editions. Well, this is quite unobviously red in my opinion, and hopefully you're picking that up from the camera here. I have actually got some side lights to just give more light onto the object now, and hopefully that's coming across on the camera. And as we've said, this Topaz really does seem focused on that private study and public reading agenda that they set out to accomplish with the Topaz. And the previous Topazes certainly achieved that. They achieved the goal that they set out to achieve, which was to offer a beautifully clear and enjoyable public reading and private study experience. And this takes that to the next level even, because there isn't the additional headings and additional distractions of that. It is a very focused, very clean King James Version text. So if that's what you're looking for, then look no further. This is a great place to start. And to that end, if we go to this genealogy, you'll notice that there are no self-pronunciation marks as well. So again, we're getting a very focused and clean KJV text here to enjoy. So the cross-references and the notes, as we've said already, are excellent, but perhaps let's look at the concordance, because that, for me, that is a very important and often overlooked part of a Bible. So I really appreciate a good concordance. I use it in most church meetings and church gatherings that I'm in, because my mind will think, oh, where do we read that again? You know, I'll have just picked up on a word or a phrase and I'll want to find it in my Bible, and if you haven't got a good concordance, it can be very disappointing and frustrating. So I like a good concordance, and I'm very pleased to report that the concordance in the KJV Topaz is excellent. It is absolutely excellent. Now, the concordance that we find here, although it looks different to some of our other well-loved Cambridge editions, I have had a look through and I have compared them, and I think I can now confidently say that the concordance in this Bible is the same as the concordance found in the Concord and in the Cameo Bible. So there are plenty of pages here, plenty of references, and I have tried it and I have found it to be very good. So if you like the concordance in your Cameo, in your Concord, it will be the same. I think I can say that. I haven't had it confirmed, but I've checked virtually every page and every item, and it does seem as if they are the same. So it's not the same concordance as found in say, for example, the Clarion or the Pitt Minion. It's not that Reader's Companion or anything like that. It is the concordance that you would find in the Cameo and Concord. So it's very good. It isn't the same as the ESV or the New King James, because obviously there are going to be differences in words, and there's differences in amounts, and the other publishers of those translations, like Zondervan, Nelson and Crossway, will obviously have an influence on the quality of the concordance. But this KJV concordance is absolutely brilliant. So a real plus and a real thumbs up there. And also we're going to have our now very good maps that we have in the back of the Cambridge. These are on a sort of a glossier cardstock, not too glossy, full colour, and because this is one of the biggest pages that Cambridge produce now, they are an excellent size and you should have no trouble reading them at all. So excellent maps, excellent concordance, excellent references, excellent translational notes. This is shaping up to be a very, very good private study and public reading Bible. And we keep saying those phrases because that is what this Topaz is about. Now, I don't think it ticks every box. However, it is excellent at what it sets out to do. So if you are looking for a larger KJV reference Bible, this is got to be near the top of your list. It is absolutely beautifully produced, typical Cambridge quality. This is the calf split now that we're looking at, and there we have it there. You'll notice straight away that they are the same inside. Just a mirror copy, mirror image on top of each other there. So really enjoyable Bible to use. Now, if we were to compare it to some other Bibles, we'll get our ESV Topaz out, one of my favourites again, and we'll find the similar self-same passage. There we have the Song of Solomon. Open. Obviously the pagination and everything is going to be different in this because it's a different translation, but you'll notice that it's exactly the same layout, fonts, typeface is the same, it's just using that different text, the ESV versus the King James Version text. And also perhaps we would compare it to the turquoise, so we'll find that as well. Now I have to say I love the turquoise, and I've always got this thing about more traditional fonts. That's just my bread and butter, just what I'm used to. So let's take a look at the comparison here as well. There we go. So here we have a real coming together of old and new. I'll line that up for you there. And we'll just focus in a bit. So there you can see a bit of a comparison between the fonts, the layouts, the typefaces. Maybe you've got both of these, a topaz and a turquoise. Both are beautiful, excellent Bibles. So in conclusion, a very focused, a very pure King James Version text, excellent for public reading and for private study. I hope you guys enjoyed that video and a review of the King James Version Topaz from Cambridge. I will leave links to the website where you can get one of these. Check that out. I'll also be putting some pictures and images on the Instagram and the Facebook page for you to take a look at this text and this Bible for yourself. So take care, God bless, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we'll catch up on another video soon. Bye bye.